my cigarettes, loaded with regret, and I find myself a spot between space and time. Everything I know, yeah, it's got to go. And I wonder to myself, do I even try sometimes? I found myself a girl, should I say she once found me? I found myself a girl, should I say she found me? It's Oklahoma brown, all that is around. If I fell in love with you, would you fall in love with me, please too? You're my piece of pie, words I can't deny. If you fell in love with me, could we fall in love with we, please too? I found myself a girl, or should I say she once found me? I found myself a girl, or should I say fall on me now, and I will not get lonely. If you fall on me now, I will not get lonely anymore. And all my cigarettes, pack them with regret. If I had a choice, I'd be there for you too. I found myself a girl, should I say she once found me? I found myself a girl, should I say she found me?
Welcome to Buckner Theatre at Florida Southern College. The show will begin momentarily. Thank you for joining us for this live stream production of As You Like It. We are delighted to be able to share this production with you. Given the current situation with the coronavirus, the loss of lives worldwide, the shutdowns, and the subsequent effect on the arts, we feel very fortunate to have been able to mount this production. We greatly appreciate the support of the administration at Florida Southern for working with us to continue our mission both educationally and artistically. and to our students who have been very diligent in observing the prescribed safety procedures throughout the rehearsal process, both here at the theater and on their own, to get us here to the point of performance. In furtherance of those safety precautions, the actors will be wearing masks throughout the performance and have been staged to maintain appropriate distancing. We will take a 3-minute intermission so you can stretch your legs, use the facilities, and of course, refill your popcorn. Thank you for tuning in to this live stream, and please enjoy the show.
She's the woman that I love, sent from heaven up above. When I'm with her, my troubles end. Oh, Rosalind.
As I remember, Adam, it was upon this fashion my father bequeathed me by will a poor 1,000 crowns, and as thou sayest, charged my brother on his blessing to breed me well. This is where my sadness begins. My brother Jacques, he keeps at school and reports speak goldenly of his profits. As for my part, he keeps me rustically at home. For call you that keeping? For a gentleman of my birth, that differs not from the stalling of an ox. His horses are bred better. Besides that they are fair with their feeding, they are taught their manage, and to that end riders dearly hired. And I, his brother, gain nothing, and this nothing that he so plentifully gives me, the something that nature gave me, his countenance seems to take from me. He lets me feed with his hired hands. He bars me the place of a brother, and as much as in him lies, minds my gentility with my education. This is it, Adam, that grieves me. But the spirit of my father, which I think is within me, begins to mutiny against this servitude, and I will no longer endure it, though yet I know no wise remedy how to avoid it.
Yonder comes my master, your brother.
Go apart, Adam, and thou shalt see how he will shake me up.
Now, sir, what makes you here?
Nothing, sir. I'm not taught to make anything.
What mar you then, sir?
Marry, sir, I am helping you to mar that which God made, a poor, unworthy brother of yours with idleness.
Marry, sir, be better employed.
Shall I keep your hogs and eat husks with them? What prodigal portion have I spent that I should come to such penury?
Know you where you are, sir?
Oh, sir, very well.
Know you before whom, sir?
I, better than him I am before, knows me. I know you are my eldest brother, and in the gentle condition of blood, you should so know me. I have as much of my father in me as you.
What, boy?
Come, come, elder brother.
Wilt thou challenge me, villain?
I am no villain. I am the youngest son of Sir Rosalind de Boys, and he is thrice a villain that says such a father begot villains. Wert thou not my brother, I would pull out thy tongue for saying so.
Sweet masters, be patient. For your father's remembrance, be at accord.
My father charged you in his will to give me good education, and you have trained me like a peasant. But the spirit of my father grows strong in me, and I will no longer endure it. Therefore, give me the poor lottery my father left me by testament. With that, I will go and buy my fortunes.
And what will thou do? Beg when that is spent? I will not be long troubled with you. You shall get some part of your will. I pray you leave me. Get you with him, you old dog.
Is old dog my reward? God be with my old master, he would not have spoken such a word.
I will cure your rankness, and yet spend no 1,000 crowns neither. Dennis!
Calls your worship.
Was not Charles here to speak with me?
So please you, he is here at the gate.
Call him in. 'Twill be a good way, and tomorrow the wrestling is.
Good morrow to you, monsieur.
Good Charles. What's the new news at the new court?
Oh, there is no new news at the court. Only the old news. That is, the old duke has been banished by his younger brother, the new duke.
Can you tell if Rosalind, the duke's daughter, be banished with her father?
Oh, no, for the duke's daughter, her cousin, so loves her, being ever from their cradles bred together, that she would have followed her exile or have died to stay behind her.
And where will the old duke live?
They say he lives in the Forest of Arden, and a merry man with him. And there they live like the old Robin Hood of England. Boo!
And you wrestle tomorrow before the new duke?
Marry, I do, sir, and I came to acquaint you with the matter. I am given, sir, secretly to understand that your younger brother Orlando comes against me to try a fall. Tomorrow I wrestle for my credit, and he that escapes me without some broken limb shall acquit him well. Your brother is but young and tender, and for your love I would be loath to foil him, as I must for mine honor if he come in. Therefore, out of my love to you, I came hither to acquaint you withal, that you might be able to stay his intentions or tolerate such disgrace as well as he shall run into.
Charles, I thank thee for thy love to me, which thou shalt find I will most kindly requite. I'll tell thee, Charles, it is the stubbornest young fellow of France, a secret and villainous contriver against me, his natural brother. If thou dost him any slight disgrace, he will entrap thee by some treacherous device and never leave thee till he hath taken thy life by some indirect means or other. Therefore, use thy discretion. I had as lief thou didst break his neck as his finger.
I'm heartily glad I came hither to you. If he come in, I'll give him his payment. If ever he go alone again, I'll wrestle for prize no more. And so God keep you, monsieur.
Farewell, good Charles. I hope I shall see an end of him. For my soul, yet I know not why, hates nothing more than he. Yet he's gentle, never schooled and yet learned, full of noble device of all sorts, enchantingly beloved, and in the heart of the world, and especially of my own people, who know him best, that I am altogether misprized. But it shall not be so long. This wrestler shall clear all.
I pray thee, Rosalind, sweet my cuz, be merry.
Dear Celia, I show more mirth than I am mistress of. Unless you could teach me to forget a banished father, you must not learn me to remember any extraordinary pleasure.
Herein I see thou lovest me not with the full extent that I love thee. If my uncle, thy banished father, had banished thy uncle the duke, my father, so thou hadst been still with me, I could have taught my love to take thy father for mine. So wouldst thou, if the truth of thy love to me were so righteously tempered as mine is to thee.
Well, I will forget the condition of my estate to rejoice in yours.
You know my father hath no child but I, nor none is like to have. And truly, when he dies, thou shalt be his heir. For what he hath taken away from thy father perforce, I will render thee again in affection. By mine honor I will, and when I break that oath, let me turn monster. Therefore, my sweet Rose, my dear Rose, be merry!
From henceforth I will, cuz. And goodbye, sports. Oh, let me see. What think you of falling in love?
Marry, I prithee do, to make sport withal, but love no man in good earnest.
Well, what will be our sport then?
Let us sit and mock the good housewife Fortune from her wheel, that her gifts may henceforth be bestowed equally.
I would we could do so, for her benefits are mightily misplaced.
'Tis true. For those that she makes fair, she scarce makes honest, and those that she makes honest, she makes very ill-favoredly.
Nay, now thou goest from Fortune's office to Nature's. Fortune reigns in gifts of the world, not features of nature.
No, when nature hath made a fair creature, may she not by fortune fall into the fire? Though nature hath given us wit to flout at fortune, hath not fortune sent in this fool to cut off the argument? How now, wit, whither wander you?
Mistress, you must come away to your father.
Ugh, were you made the messenger?
No, by mine honor. But I was bid to come for you.
Where learned you that oath, fool?
Of a certain man that swore by his honor they were good pancakes, and swore by his honor the mustard was not. Now, I'll stand to it that the pancakes were not, and the mustard was good, and yet was not the man forsworn.
How prove you that in the great heap of your knowledge?
Aye, marry, unmuzzle your wisdom.
Stand you both forth now, stroke your chins, and swear by your beards that I am a knave.
By our beards, if we had them, thou art.
By my knavery, if I had it, then I were. But if you swear by that is not, you are not forsworn. No more was this man swearing by his honor, for he never had any. Or if he had sworn it away long before he ever saw those pancakes or that mustard.
Prithee, who is it that thou mean'st?
One that old Frederick, your father, loves.
My father's love is enough to honor him. Enough. Speak no more of him.
The more pity that fools may not speak wisely what wise men do foolishly.
By my troth, thou sayest true. For since the little wit that fools have was silenced, the little foolery that wise men have makes a great show. Oh, bonjour, LeBeau. What's the news?
Fair lady, you have lost much good sport.
Oh, sport? Of what color?
I will tell you the beginning, and if it pleases your ladyship, you may see the end, for the best is yet to do.
Well, the beginning is dead and buried.
There comes there comes an old man and his 3 sons, 3 proper young men of excellent growth and presence. The eldest of the 3 wrestled with Charles, the Duke's wrestler, which in a moment Charles threw him and broke 3 of his ribs, that there is little hope of life in him. And so he did the second, and so the third.
Alas.
But what is the sport, monsieur, that the ladies have lost?
Why, this that I speak of.
Thus men may grow wiser every day. It is the first time that ever I heard breaking of ribs a sport for ladies.
Or I promise thee.
But is there any else longs to see this broken music in his sides? Shall we see this wrestling, cousin?
Since the youth will not be entreated, his own peril on his forwardness.
Is yonder the man?
Even he, madam.
Alas, he is too young. Yet, he looks successfully.
How now, daughter and cousin? Have you crept hither to see the wrestling?
Hi, good uncle, so please you give us leave.
You will take little delight in it. I can tell you there is such odds in the man. In pity of the challenger's youth, I would fain dissuade him. But he will not be entreated. Speak to him, ladies, see if you can move him.
Call him hither, good LeBeau.
Do so. I'll not be by.
Monsieur, the challenger, the princess calls for you.
I attend them with all respect and duty.
Young man, have you challenged Charles the wrestler?
No, dear lady. He is the general challenger. I come in, but in as others do, to try with him the strength of my youth.
Young gentleman, you are too bold for your years. You have seen cruel proof of this man's strength. We pray you, for your own sake, to embrace your own safety and give over this attempt.
Do, young sir. We will make it our suit to the Duke that the wrestling might not go forward. Your reputation shall therefore not be misprized.
I beseech you, punish me not with your hard thoughts, but let your gentle eyes and fair wishes go with me to my trial, wherein if I be foiled, there is but one shamed who was never gracious. If killed, there is but one dead who is willing to be so. I will do my friends no harm, for I have none to lament me. I will do the world no injury, for in it I have nothing. Only in the world I fill up a place that may be better supplied when I have made it empty.
The little strength I have, I would it were with you.
Oh, and mine, to eke out hers.
Fare you well. Pray heaven I be deceived in you.
Your heart's desire be with you.
Where is this young gallant that is so desirous to lie with his mother earth?
Ready, sir.
You shall try, but one fall.
No, I warrant your grace you shall not entreat him to a second, that have so mightily persuaded him from a first.
You mean to mock me after. You should not have mocked me before. Come your ways.
Let's get ready to tumble! And now, the last challenger of the night, the young and the courageous Orlando! And now, the meanest, baddest champion that has ever entered the ring, King the Kong Charles!
Hercules, be thy speed, young man!
I would I were invisible, to catch a strong fellow by the leg.
Excellent, young man!
No more! No more! How does Charles?
He cannot speak, my lord.
Bear him away. What is thy name, young man?
Orlando, the youngest son of Sir Rowland de Bois.
I would thou had been son to some man else. The world esteemed thy father honorable, but I did still find him mine enemy. But fare thee well. Thou art a gallant youth. I would thou had told me of another father.
I am proud to be Sir Rowland's son, his youngest son, and would not trade that calling to be adopted heir to Duke Frederick.
My father loved Sir Rowland as his soul, and all of the world was of my father's mind.
Let us go thank him and encourage him. Sir, you have well deserved. If you do keep your promises and love, but justly, as you have exceeded all promise, your mistress shall be happy.
Gentlemen, wear this for me. One out of suits with fortune that could give more, but her hand lacks means. Shall we go, cuz?
Aye. Fare you well, fair gentlemen. Rosalind.
Can I not say I thank you? My better parts are all thrown down, and that which here stands up is a mere lifeless block.
He calls us back. My pride fell with my fortunes. I'll ask him what he would. Did you call, sir? Sir, you have wrestled well and overthrown more than your enemies.
Will you go, cuz?
Fare you well.
What passion hangs these weights upon my tongue? I cannot speak to her, yet she urged conference. Oh, poor Orlando, thou art overthrown.
Good sir, I do ask you to leave this place. Albeit you deserve high commendation, true applause, and love, yet such is now the Duke's condition that he misconstrued all that you have done.
I thank you, and pray you, tell me this. Which of the two was the daughter of the Duke that was here at the wrestling?
Indeed, his daughter is the one with the auburn hair, the other's daughter to the banished Duke, and here detained by her usurping uncle to keep his daughter company, whose loves are dearer than the natural bond of sisters. But I can tell you that as of late, this Duke hath taken displeasure against his gentle niece, grounded upon no other argument but that the people praise her for her virtues and pity her for her good father's sake. And on my life, his malice against the lady will soon break forth. Sir, fare you well. Hereafter, in a better world than this, I shall desire more love and knowledge of you.
I rest much bounden to you. Fare you well. And thus from smoke into smother, from a tyrant duke unto a tyrant brother, but heavenly Rosalind.
My cousin. Oh, my Rosalind. Cupid have mercy, not a word.
Not one to throw at a dog.
But is all this for your father?
No. Some of it is for my child's father.
Come, wrestle with thy affections.
Well, they take the better part of a wrestler than myself.
Is it possible on such a sudden you should fall into so strong a liking for old Sir Rowland's youngest son?
My father loved his father dearly.
Doth it therefore ensue that you should love his son dearly? By this kind of chase, I should hate him, for my father hated his father dearly. Yet, I hate not Orlando.
No, faith, hate him not for my sake.
Mistress, dispatch you with your safest haste, and get you from our court.
Me, uncle.
You, cousin, within these 10 days, if thou be found so near our court as 20 miles, thou diest for it.
I do beseech your grace. Let me the knowledge of my fault bear with me, if with myself I hold intelligence. Never so much in a thought unborn did I offend your highness.
Thus do all traitors. Let it suffice thee that I trust you not.
Yet your mistrust cannot make me a traitor. Tell me whereon the likelihood depends.
Thou art thy father's daughter. There's enough.
So was I when you took his dukedom. So was I when you banished him. Treason is not inherited, my lord, or if we did derive it from our friends, what's that to me? My father was no traitor, then mistake me not so much to think my poverty is treacherous.
Dear father, hear me speak.
Aye, Celia. We stayed her for your sake, else had she with her father ranged along.
I did not then entreat to have her stay. It was your pleasure and your own remorse. If she be a traitor, why so am I. We still have slept together, rose at an instant, learned, played at together, and wheresoever we went like Juno Swan, still we went coupled and inseparable.
Thou art a fool! She robs you of thy name, and thou shalt shine more bright and seem more virtuous when she is gone.
No, that's not
Then
true.
open not thy lips. Firm and irrevocable is my doom which I have passed upon her. She is banished.
Pronounce that sentence then on me, father. I cannot live out of her company.
You are a fool. You, niece, provide yourself. If you outstay the time upon mine honor and the greatness of my word, you die.
But oh, my poor Rosalind. Whither wilt thou go? Wilt thou change fathers? I will give thee mine. I charge thee. Be not thou more grieved than I am.
I have more cause.
Thou hast not, cousin. Prithee, be cheerful. Knowst thou not the Duke hath banished me, his daughter?
That he hath not.
He hath not. Rosalind lacks then the love which teacheth thee that thou and I are one. Shall we be sundered? Shall we part, sweet girl? No, no. Let my father seek another heir. For by this heaven now at our sorrows pale, say what thou canst. I'll go along with thee.
Why, whither will we go?
To seek my uncle in the Forest of Arden.
Alas, what a danger will that be to us, maids as we are, to travel forth so far. Beauty provoketh thieves sooner than gold.
I'll put myself in poor and mean attire, the like to you. So shall we pass along and never stir assailants.
Were it not better if I did suit me all points like a man? A spear in my hand and in my heart lie what hidden women's fear their will. We'll have a swashing and martial outside as many other mannish cowards have.
What shall I call thee when thou art a man?
I'll have no worse a name than from Jove's own page. And therefore, look, you call me Ganymede. But what will you be called?
Something that hath a reference to my state. No longer Celia, but Aliana.
Oh, but cousin, what if we attempt to steal the clownish fool out of your father's court? Would he not be comfort to our travel?
Oh, he'll go along o'er the wide world with me. Leave me alone to woo him. Let's away. To liberty, and not to banishment.
What shall he that have killed the deer, his leather skin and horns to wear, then sing him home? Take thou no scorn to wear the horn, it was a crest ere thou was born. Thy father's father wore it, and thy father bore it. The horn, the lusty horn, is not a thing to laugh to scorn.
Now, my co-mates and brothers in exile, hath not old custom made this life more sweet than that of painted pomp? Are not these woods more free from peril than the envious court? Here, feel we not the penalty of Adam, the season's difference? As the icy fang and churlish chiding of the winter's wind, which when it bites and blows upon my body, even till I shrink with cold, I smile and say, this is no flattery. These are counselors that feelingly persuade me what I am. Sweet are the uses of adversity, which, like the toad, ugly and venomous, wears yet a precious jewel on his head. And this, our life, exempt from public haunt, finds tongues in trees, books in the running brooks, sermons in stones, and good in everything. I would not change it.
Happy is your grace, as one that can translate such stubbornness of fortune into so quiet and sweet a style.
Sing for us.
Certainly. Under the greenwood tree, who loves to lie with me and turn his merry note unto the sweet bird's throat. Come hither, come hither, come hither. Here shall he see no enemy but winter and rough weather, whose doth ambition shun and loves to live in the sun, seeking the food he eats and pleased with what he gets. Come hither, come hither, come hither. Here shall he see no enemy but winter and rough weather.
Come, shall we go and kill us venison? And yet, it irks me. The poor dappled fools, being native burghers of this desert city, should in their own confines with forked heads have their round haunches gored.
Indeed, my lord. The melancholy Jacques grieves at that, and in that kind swears that you do more usurp than doth your brother that hath banished you. Today I stole behind him as he lay along under an oak. Its antique roots peeps out along the brook that brawls this wood, to the which place a poor sequestered stag that from the hunter's aim had ta'en a hurt did come to languish, and the big round tears coursed down the animal's innocent nose in piteous chase.
But what said Jacques? Did he not moralize this spectacle?
Oh, yes, into 1,000 similes. Poor dear, quoth he. Thus misery doth part the flux of company. Anon, a careless herd full of pasture jumps along by him and never stays to greet him. Aye, quoth Jacques. Sweep on, you fat and greasy citizens, 'tis just the fashion. Wherefore do you look upon the poor and broke and bankrupt there? Thus, most insightfully, he pierceth through the body of country, city, court, yea, and of this our life swearing, that we were mere usurpers, tyrants, and what's worse, to fright the animals and kill them up in their assigned and native dwelling place.
And did you leave him in this contemplation?
We did, my lord, weeping and commenting upon the sobbing deer.
Show me the place. I love to cope him in these sullen fits, for then he's full of matter.
I'll bring you to him straight.
Who's there?
Oh, my sweet master, my gentle master, what make you here?
Why, what's the matter?
O unhappy youth, cannot within these walls, for the enemy of all your graces lives, your brother. This night he means to burn the lodging in which you used to lie, and you within it. This house, it is but a butchery. Abhor it, fear, do not enter it.
Why, whither, Adam, wouldst thou have me go?
No matter whither, so you come not here.
What? Wouldst thou have me go and beg my food, or with a base and boisterous weapon make a thievish living on the common road? I will rather subject me to the malice of a diverted blood and bloody brother.
But do not so. I have 500 crowns, the thrifty hire I saved under your father, which I did store to be my foster nurse when old limbs lie lame and unregarded age in corners thrown. But all this I give to you. I can be your servant. I will do all your services of one younger, in all your businesses and necessities.
Oh, good man, how well they appear in the constant service of the antique world, where service sweat for duty, not for pay. Thou art not for the fashion of these times, where none will sweat but for promotion. Come your ways, we'll go along together, and ere we have thy youthful wages spent, we'll light upon some settled low content.
Master, go on, and I will follow thee to the last gasp with truth and loyalty.
from 17 years, now almost 80, here lived I. But now live here no more.
Can it be possible that no man saw them? It cannot be. Some villains of my court drove consent and sufferance in this.
I cannot tell of any that did see her. The attendants of her chamber saw her at bed, and in the morning found the bed untreasured of their mistress.
My lord, the Roynish clown at whom so oft your grace was wont to laugh is also missing. Hesperia, Celia's gentlewoman, confesses that she secretly o'erheard your daughter and her cousin much commend the parts and graces of the wrestler that did but lately foil the sinewy Charles, and she believes wherever they are gone, that youth is surely in their company.
Send to his brother. Fetch that gallant hither. If he be absent, bring his brother to me. I'll make him find him. Do this suddenly, and let not search and inquisition quail to bring again these foolish runaways.
Oh, Jupiter, how weary are my spirits.
I care not for my spirits if my legs were not weary.
I pray you bear with me. I cannot go no further.
For my part, I'd rather bear with you than bear you.
Well, this is the Forest of Arden.
Aye. Now am I in Arden, the more fool I. When I was at home, I was in a better place. But travelers must be content.
Aye, be so, good Touchstone. Look you who comes here.
That is the way to make her scorn you still.
Oh, Corin, that thou knewest how I do love her.
I partly guess, for I have loved her now.
How many actions most ridiculous hast thou been drawn to by thy fantasy?
Into 1,000 that I have forgotten.
Oh, thou dost then never love so heartedly, if thou rememberest not the slightest folly that ever love did make thee run into. Thou hast not loved, or if thou hast not stood as I do now, wearing thy hair as thy mistress prays, thou hast not loved, or if thou hast not broken from company abruptly as my passion now makes thee, thou hast not loved. Oh, Phoebe, Phoebe, Phoebe!
Jove, Jove, this shepherd's passion is much upon my fashion.
And mine. But it grows something stale with me.
I pray you, one of you questioned yon man if Peeper Gold will give us any food. I faint almost to death.
Holla, you clown!
Oh, peace, fool, he's not thy kinsman.
Who calls?
You're better, sir.
Else are they very wretched.
Peace, I say. Good even to you, friend.
And to you, gentle sir. And to you all.
I prithee, if that love or gold can in this desert place buy us entertainment, bring us where we may rest ourselves and feed. Here is a young maid with travel much oppressed and yearns for help.
Fair sir, I pity her, and I wish for her sake more than for my own that my fortunes were able to relieve her. But I'm a shepherd to another man, and do not shear the fleeces that I graze. Besides, my master is of churlish disposition, little cares to find the way to heaven through deeds of hospitality. But his cottage bounds of feet and flock are now on sale. But what is? Come with me, and in my voice most welcome shall you be.
I pray thee, if it stand with honesty, buy thou the cottage, pasture, and the flock, and thou shalt have to pay for it of us.
And we will mend thy wages. I like this place, and willingly could waste my time in it.
Surely the place is to be sold. And if in part you like the soil, the profit, and this way of life, I will your faithful feeder be, and buy with your gold, right suddenly.
I'm not paid enough for this, man.
Master, I can go no further, or I die for food. Here, lie down and measure out my grave. Farewell, kind master.
Why, how now, Adam? No greater heart in thee. Live a little, comfort a little, cheer thyself a little. If this uncouth forest yield anything savage, I will either be food for it, or bring it for food to thee. Hold death a while at arm's end, and I'll be with thee presently. And if I bring thee not something back to eat, then I give thee leave to die. But if thou diest before I come, thou art a mocker of my labor. Well said, thou lookest cheerly. I'll be with thee quickly. Now come, I will lead thee to some shelter where thou shalt not die for lack of dinner, if there live anything in this desert.
Why, how now, monsieur? What a life is this that your poor friends must woo your company? What? You look merrily.
A fool. I met a fool in the forest, who laid him down and basked in the sun. Good morrow, fool, quoth I. No, sir, quoth he. Call me not fool till heaven hath sent me fortune. And then he drew a dial from his poke, and looking on it with lackluster eyes, says very wisely, It is 10 o'clock. Thus we may see, quoth he, how the world wags. 'Tis but an hour ago since it was 9, and in 1 hour more 'twill be 11. And so, from hour to hour we ripe and ripe, and then from hour to hour we rot and rot, and thereby hangs a tale. When I did hear the motley fool thus moral on the time, my lungs began to crow like chanticleer. That fool should be so deep contemplative. Oh, noble fool.
What a fool is this?
One that hath been a courter, and says, if ladies be but young and fair, they have the gift to know it. Oh, that I were a fool. I am ambitious for a motley coat.
Thou shalt have one.
It is my only suit, provided that you weed me of your better judgments, in all opinion that grows rank in them. That I am wise, I must have liberty, withal as largely as a charter of the wind, to blow on whom I please, for so fools have. Invest me in my motley. Give me leave to speak my mind, and I will, through and through, cleanse the foul body of the infected world, if they will patiently receive my medicine.
Fie on thee. I know what thou wouldst do.
What for a counter would I do, but good?
Most mischievous foul sin in chiding sin. For thy thyself hast been a liberty, as sensual as the brutish sing itself. Would thou disgorge into the general world?
Why, who cries out on pride that can therein tax any private party? Doth it not flow as hugely as the sea?
Forbear and eat no more.
Why, I have eaten none yet.
Nor shalt not till necessity be served.
Of what kind should this cock come of?
Forbear, I say. Thou diest that touch any of this food till I and my affairs are answered.
And you will not be answered with reason? Then I must die.
What would you have? Your gentleness shall move us to force more than your force shall move us to gentleness.
I almost die for food.
Then sit down and feed, and welcome to our table.
Speak you so gently. Pardon me, I pray you, I thought all things had been savage here, and thus I put on the countenance of stern commandment. But whatever you are, if ever you have been on better days, if ever you have been where bells have knolled to church, if ever you have sat at any good man's feast, and from your eyelids wiped a tear, and know it is to pity and be pitied, let gentleness my strong enforcement be.
'Tis true that we have seen better days, and have with holy bell been knolled to church, sat at good men's feasts, and wiped our eyes. And therefore, set you down in gentleness, and take upon command what help we have that to your wanting may be ministered.
But forbear your food a little while, for there is a man whom after me hath many a weary step limped in pure love. Till he is first sufficed, I shall not touch a bit.
Find him out, and we will nothing waste till you return.
I thank you, and be blessed for your good comfort.
Thou seest, we are not all alone unhappy. This wide and universal theater presents more woeful pageants than the scene wherein we play in.
All the world's a stage, and all the men and women are merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages. At first, the infant, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms. And then, the whining schoolboy, with his satchel and shining morning face, creeping like snail unwillingly to school. And then the lover, sighing with furnace, with a woeful ballad made to his mistress's eyebrow. Then a soldier, full of strange oaths and bearded like the pard, jealous in honor, quick and sudden in quarrel, seeking the bubble reputation, even in the cannon's mouth. And then the justice, in fair round belly, with eyes severe and beard of formal cut, full of wise saws and modern instances, and so he plays his part. The sixth stage shifts into a lean and slippered pantaloon, spectacles on nose and pouch on side, his youthful hose well saved a world too wide. For his shrunk shank and his big manly voice, turning again towards a childish treble, pipes and whistles in his sound. Last scene of all, that ends this strange, eventful history, is a second childishness and mere oblivion. Sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything.
Welcome. Sit down and feed.
I thank you most for him.
So had you need. I scarce can speak to thank you for myself.
Welcome, welcome. I will not trouble you as yet to question you about your fortunes. Give us some music, and good cousin, sing.
Blow, blow, thou winter wind, thou art not so unkind as man's ungratitude. Thy tooth is not so keen because thou art not seen, although thy breath be rude. Hi-ho, sing a hi-ho unto the green holly. Most friendship is fading, most loving mere folly. Hi-ho, the holly, this life is most jolly. Bite so nigh as benefits for God. Although the water's war, thy sting is not so sharp as friends remember not. Hi-ho, sing a hi-ho unto the green holly. Most friendship is most loving mere folly. Hi-ho, the holly, this life is most jolly.
If that you were the good Sir Rowland's son, as thou hast whispered faithfully you were, and as mine eyes doth his effigies witness most limed and living on your face, be truly welcome hither. I am the duke that loved your father. The residue of your fortune go to my cave and tell me, and let me all your fortunes understand.
unto the green holly. Most friendship is fading, most loving mere folly. Hi-ho, the holly, this life is most jolly.
Not seen him since. Sir, sir, that cannot be. If I were not the better part made mercy, I would not seek an absent argument, but revenge. Thou present. Seek you to it. Find out thy brother wheresoever he is. Seek him day or night. Bring him dead or living within this 12-month. Or return thou no more to seek a living in our territory. Your lands and all things that thou dost call thine worth seizure do we seize into our hands, until thou can prove by thy brother's mouth what we think against thee.
That your highness knew my heart in this. I never loved my brother in my life.
More villain thou. Get him out of doors. Have my officers seize his house and lands. Do this expediently and turn him going.
Hang there, my verse, in witness of my love. Oh, Rosalind, these trees shall be my books, and in their barks my thoughts all character. That every eye in which this forest looks shall see thy virtue witnessed everywhere. Oh, run, run, Orlando. Carve on every tree the fair, the chaste, the unexpressive she.
And how like you this shepherd's life, Master Touchstone?
Truly, shepherd, in respect of itself, it is a good life, but in respect that it is a shepherd's life, it is not. In respect that it is solitary, I like it very well, but in respect that it is private, it is a very vile life. Now, in respect that it's in the fields, it pleaseth me well, but in respect that it's not at the court, it is tedious. As it is a spare life, look you, it fits my humor well, but as there is no more plenty in it, it goes much against my stomach. Hast any philosophy in thee, shepherd?
No more that I know that the more one sickens, the worse at ease he is. That he who wants money, means, and property is without three good friends. That the property of rain is to wet, fire to burn, that good pasture makes fat sheep, and that the great cause of night is lack of sun.
Such a one is a natural philosopher. Wast ever at court, shepherd?
No, truly.
Then thou art damned. Woo!
Nay, I hope.
No, truly, thou art damned. Like an ill-roasted egg all on one side.
For not being at court. Your reason?
Why, if thou never wast at court, thou never sawest good manners. If thou never sawest good manners, then thy manners must be wicked. And wickedness is a sin, and sin is damnation. Thou art in a perilous state, shepherd.
Not a whit, Touchstone. For those that are good manners at the court are most ridiculous in the country, as the manners of the country are most mockable at the court. You said you salute not at the court, but you kiss your hands. Such courtesy would be uncleanly if courtiers were shepherds.
Instance, briefly, come, instance.
Why, we are still handling our ewes, and their fleeces, you know, are greasy.
Why? Do not your courtiers' hands sweat? Is not the grease of a mutton as wholesome as the sweat of a man? Shallow, shallow. A better instance, I say, come.
Besides, our hands are hard.
Your lips will feel them the sooner. Shallow again, a more sounder instance, come.
And they are often tarred over with the surgery of our sheep. Would you have us kiss tar? The courtier's hands are perfumed with civet.
Most shallow man, thou worm's meat in respect of a good piece of flesh indeed. Learn of the wise and ponder. Civet is of baser birth than tar, the very uncleanly flux of a cat. Mend the instance, shepherd.
You have too courtly a wit for me. I'll rest.
Wilt thou rest damned? God help thee, shallow man. God make incision in thee. Thou art raw.
Fair sir, I am a true laborer. I earn that I eat, get that I wear, envy no man, glad for other men's good, content with my harm, and the greatest of my pride is to see my ewes graze and my lambs suck.
That is another simple sin in you, to bring your ewes and your rams together and to offer to get your living by the copulation of cattle, to be bawd to a bellwether and to betray a she-lamb of a 12-month to a crooked-pated old cuckoldly ram out of all reasonable match. Why, if thou beest not damned for this, the devil himself will have no shepherds. I cannot see how else thou should escape.
From the east to western inn, no jewel is like Rosalind. Her worth being mounted on the wind, through all the world bears Rosalind. All the fairest pictures lined are but black to Rosalind. Let no face be kept in mind but the fair of Rosalind.
If a heart do lack a hind, let him seek out Rosalind. If the cat will after kind, so be sure will Rosalind. Winter garments must be lined, and so must slender Rosalind. Sweetest nut have sourest rind, and such a nut is Rosalind. He that sweetest rose will find must find love's prick and Rosalind. This is the very false gallop of verses. Why do you infect yourself with them?
Peace, fool. I found them on a tree.
Truly. The tree yields bad fruit.
Oh, peace, here comes my sister reading. Stand aside.
Why should this a desert be? For it's unpeopled? Oh, no. Shall I, Rosalind, write, teaching all that to read to know, the quintessence of every sprite, heavenward in little show. Therefore, heaven nature charged that one body should be filled with all graces wide enlarged, nature presently distilled.
Oh, potential Jupiter, what tedious homily of love have you wearied your parishioners withal?
How now?
Brava, bravissima, wow, this is so fantastico, fantastico. Acting.
Oh.
Acting?
Acting.
Ah.
The course of true love never did run smooth.
Back, friends. Shepherd, go off a little. Go with him, Sirrah.
Come, Shepherd, let us make an honorable retreat.
Oh.
And the touchstone goes to me. Wow, this is such a surprise. I'd like to thank Mama Touchstone and Papa Touchstone and make a broad political statement.
Didst thou hear these verses?
Oh, yes, I heard them all, and more too, for some of them had in them more feet than the verses could bear.
That's no matter. The feet might bear the verses.
Aye, but the feet were lame and could not bear themselves without the verse, and therefore stood lamely in the verse.
But didst thou hear without wondering how thy name should be hanged and carved upon these trees?
I was 7 of the 9 days out of the wonder before you came.
Know you who hath done this?
Is it a man?
And a chain that he once wore about his neck? Change your color?
I prithee, who?
Is it possible?
Nay, I prithee, with the most petitionary vehemence, tell me who it is.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful, and most wonderful, wonderful, and yet again wonderful, and after that out of a whooping.
Good, my complexion. Dost thou think, though I'm comparison like a man, I have a doublet and hose in my disposition?
Well,
1 inch more of delay is a south sea of discovery. I prithee, tell me who it is quickly, and speak apace. I would thou couldst stammer that thou mightest pour this concealed man out of your mouth as wine comes from a narrow-mouthed bottle, either too much at once, or none at all. I prithee, take the cork out of thy mouth, so I may drink thy tidings.
So you may put a man in your belly.
Is he of God's making? What manner of a man is he? Is his head worth a hat, or his chin worth a beard?
Nay, he hath but a little beard.
Well, God will send him more, if the man will be thankful. Let me stay the growth of his beard, if thou delay me not the knowledge of his chain.
It is young Orlando.
Nay.
In faith, coz, 'tis he.
Oh, Orlando. Oh, alas the day. What shall I do with my doublet and hose? What did he when thou saw'st him? What said he? How looked he? Wherein went he? What makes he here? Did he ask for me? Where remains he? How parted he with thee? And when shall thou see him again? Answer in one word. What? And dost he know that I'm in this forest and in man's apparel? And looks he as freshly as he did the day he wrestled, in one word.
It is as easier to count enemies as to resolve the prepositions of a lover. But take a taste of my finding him, and measure it with good observance. I found him under a tree like a dropped acorn.
It may well be called Jove's tree when it drops forth such fruit.
Give me audience, good madam.
Proceed.
There lay he, stretched along like a wounded knight.
Though it is a pity to see such a sight, it well becomes the ground.
Cry holla to thy tongue, I prithee, it frolics unseasonably.
Sorry.
He was furnished like a hunter.
Ominous, he comes to kill my heart!
I would sing my song without a burden. You bring me out of tune.
Do you not know that I'm woman? When I think, I must speak. Sweet, say on.
You bring me out.
Please.
Soft. Comes he not here?
Tis he.
I thank you for your company, but good faith I had as lief been myself alone.
So had I, but yet for fashion's sake, I thank you for your society.
God be with you. Let us meet as little as we can.
I do desire we be better strangers.
I pray you mar no more trees with writing love songs in their barks.
I pray you mar no more of my verses with reading them ill-favoredly.
Rosalind is your love's name?
Yes, just.
I do not like her name.
There was no thought of pleasing you when she was christened.
What stature is she of?
Just as high as my heart.
You are full of pretty answers.
Not so, but I answer you right.
You have a nimble wit. Would you sit down with me, and we two can rail against our mistress the world and all our misery?
I will chide no person in the world except myself, against whom I know most faults.
The worst fault you have is to be in love.
What? Whoa.
My worst fault is to be in love. I would not change it for your best virtue. I am weary of you.
By my troth, I was searching for a fool when I found you.
He is drowned in the brook. Go, look but in. There you shall see him.
There I shall see mine own figure.
Which I take to either be a fool or a cipher.
I'll tarry no longer with you. Farewell, good Signor Love.
I'm glad of your departure, good Monsieur Melancholy.
I will speak to him like a saucy lackey. Do you hear, Forster?
Very well, what would you?
I pray you, what is it o'clock?
You should ask me what time of day, for there is no clock in the forest.
Then there is no true lover in the forest. Else sighing every minute and groaning every hour would detect the lazy foot of time as well as a clock.
What about the swift foot of time? Had that not been as proper?
By no means, sir. Time travels in divers places with divers persons. I'll tell you who time stands still with, who time ambles with, who time trots with, and who time gallops with.
Who stays it still withal?
With a lawyer in the vacation, for they sleep between term and term, and they perceive not how time moves.
Who ambles time withal?
With a priest that lacks Latin, and a rich man that hath not the gout. For one sleeps easily because he cannot study, and the other lives merrily because he feels no pain.
And who doth he trot with?
Marry, he trots hard with a young maid between the contract of her marriage and the day it is solemnized. If the interim be but 7 days, time's pace is so hard.
Ooh.
Seems the length of 7 years.
And who doth he gallop with?
With a thief to the gallows. For though he goes as softly as foot can fall, he finds himself too soon there.
Where dwell you, pretty youth?
With the shepherdess, my sister, here in the skirts of the forest like fringe upon a petticoat.
Are you native of this place?
Your
accent is something finer than one could purchase in so removed a dwelling.
I've been told so of many. But indeed, an old religious uncle of mine taught me to speak. It was in his youth an inland man, one that knew courtship too well, for there he fell in love. I've heard him read many lecture against it, and I thank God I am not a woman to be touched by so many of their giddy offenses, as he hath generally taxed their whole sex withal.
Can you remember some of the principal evils that he laid to the charge of women?
Well, there were none so principal. They were all like one another, as halfpence are, each fault seeming monstrous till his fellow fault came to match it.
I prithee, recount some of them.
No, I will not cast my medicine but on those that are sick. There is a man haunts the forest and abuses our young plants with carvings of Rosalind, hang odes on hawthorns and elegies on brambles, all forsooth defying the name of Rosalind. If I could meet that fancy monger, I would give him some good counsel, for he seems to have the quotidian of love upon him.
I am he that is so love-shaped. Pray you, tell me your remedy.
There is none of my uncle's marks upon you.
What were his marks?
A lean cheek, which you have not. A blue eye and sunken, which you have not. An unquestionable spirit, which you have not. A beard neglected, which you have not. Then your sleeve unbuttoned, your shoes untied, and everything about you demonstrating a careless desolation, but you are no such man. You are rather point device in your accoutrement, loving yourself than seeming the lover of any other.
Fair youth, I would I could make thee believe I love.
Me believe it? You may as soon make her that you love believe it, which I warrant she is apter to do than to confess she does. That is to one of the points in which women give lie to their consciences. But in good sooth, are you he that hangs the verses on the trees wherein Rosalind is so admired?
I swear to thee, by the white hand of Rosalind, I am that he, that unfortunate he.
But are you so much in love as your rhymes speak?
Neither rhyme nor reason can express how much.
Well, love is merely a madness, and I'll tell you, deserves as well a dark house and a whip as madmen do. And the reason why they are not so punished and cured is that the lunacy is so ordinary the whippers are in love too. Yet I profess curing it by counsel.
Have you ever cured any so?
Yes, one, and in this manner. He was to imagine me, his love, his mistress, and I set him every day to woo me, at which time would I, being a moonish youth, grieve, be effeminate, changeable, longing and liking, proud, fantastical, shallow, inconstant, full of tears, full of smiles, would now like him, now loathe him, then entertain him, then forswear him, then weep at him, and spit at him. But I drave my suitor from a mad humor of love to a living humor of madness, which was to forswear the full stream of the world and live in a nook merely monastic. Then thus I cured him, and in this way will I take upon me to wash your liver as clean as a sound sheep's heart, so there shall not be one spot of love in it.
I would not be cured, youth.
I would cure you if you would but call me Rosalind and come every day to my cottage and woo me.
With all the faith of my love, I will. Tell me where it is.
Go with me to it, and I'll show you. And by the way, you shall tell me where in the forest you live. Will you go?
With all my heart, good youth.
Nay, you must call me Rosalind. Come, sister, will you go?
Rosalind.
She's the woman that I love, sent from Hymen up above. When I'm with her, my troubles end. Oh, Rosalind. Even when she's in disguise, she has the prettiest of eyes. My lover and my friend. her enough. Before I found her, things were rough. Now I can't comprehend without Rosalind. Now I wander through this forest, no comfort and no rest, thinking of a love that I could never forget. Now I wander through this forest, no comfort and no rest, thinking of a love that I could never forget. I think of you, and for you, my love is true, my love is true. With a glance she stole my heart. Now we're miles and miles apart. My love won't break, no, it won't bend. For Rosalind.
Come apace, good Audrey. I will fetch up your goats, Audrey. And how, Audrey? Am I the man yet? Doth my simple features content you?
Your features? Lord warrant us, what features?
I am here with thee and thy goats, as the most capricious poet, honest Ovid, was among the goats. Get it? Goats, gots, goats, gots. Yes, no, yes, no, maybe.
Oh, knowledge ill inhabited.
When a man's verses cannot be understood, nor a man's good wit seconded, it strikes a man more dead than a great reckoning in a little room. Truly, I would the gods had made thee poetical.
I don't know what poetical is. Is it honest in deed and in word? Is it a true thing?
No, truly, for the truest poetry is the most feigning, and lovers are given to poetry, and what they swear in poetry may be said as lovers they do feign.
Do you wish then that the gods would have made me poetical?
I do, truly. For thou swearest to me thou art honest. Now, if thou wert a poet, I might have some hope thou didst feign.
Would you not have me honest?
No, truly, unless thou wert hard favored. For honesty, coupled to beauty, is to have honey, a sauce to sugar.
A material fool.
Well, I am not fair, and therefore I pray the gods make me honest.
Truly, and to cast away honesty upon a foul slut were to put good meat into an unclean dish.
I am not a slut, though I think the gods that I am foul.
Well, praise be the gods for thy foulness. Sluttishness may come hereafter. But be it as it may be, I will marry thee. And to that end I've been with Sir Oliver Martex, the vicar of the next village, who hath promised to meet me in this place of the forest and to couple us.
I would fain see this meeting.
Well, then the gods give us joy.
Amen. Why do you always run? Sir Oliver Martext, you are well met. Will you dispatch us here, or shall we go with you to your chapel?
Is there none here to give the woman?
I will not take her on gift of any man.
Truly she must be given, or this marriage is not lawful.
Proceed, proceed. I'll give her.
Good evening, good monsieur. What you call it? I am very glad to see you, sir.
Will you be married, Motley?
As the ox hath his bow, sir, the horse his curb, and the falcon her bells, so man hath his desires. And as pigeons bill, so wedlock would be nibbling.
But will you, being a man of your breeding, be married under a bush like a beggar? Get you to a church, and get a good priest who will tell you what marriage is. This fellow will join you together as they join wainscot. And then one of you will prove a shrunk panel, and like green timber, warp, warp.
I am not in the mind, but I were better to be married of him than of another, for he is not like to marry me well. And not being well married, it'll be a good excuse for me to leave my wife hereafter.
Oh, go through with me and let me counsel thee.
Come, sweet Audrey, we must be married or we must live in Baudry. Audrey. Farewell, good Master Oliver. Not, oh sweet Oliver, oh brave Oliver, leave me not behind thee, but wind away. Begone, I say, I will not to wedding with thee.
Oh.
'Tis no matter. Ne'er a fantastical knave of them all shall flout me out of my calling.
Never talk to me, I will weep.
Do, I prithee, but yet have the grace to consider that tears do not become a man.
But have I not cause to weep?
As good cause as one would desire. Therefore, weep.
But why does he swear he comes this morning and comes not?
Nay, certainly. There is no truth in him.
Do you think so?
Yes. I think he is not a pick person or horse dealer, but as for his verity in love, I do think him as concave as a worm-eaten nut.
Not true in love?
Yes, when he is in, but I think he is not in.
You have heard him swear downright he was.
Was is not is. Besides, the oath of a lover is no stronger than the word of a tapster. They are both the confirmer of false reckonings. Oh, that's a brave man. He writes brave verses, speaks brave words, swears brave oaths, and breaks them bravely.
Masters! You have oft inquired for the shepherd that complained of love, praising the proud, disdainful shepherdess that was his mistress.
Well, and what of him?
If you will see a pageant truly played between the pale complexion of true love and the red glow of scorn and proud disdain, I shall conduct you, if you will mark it.
Come, let us remove. The side of lovers feedeth those in love.
Sweet baby, do not scorn me, do not! Say that you love me not, but say not so in bitterness. Thy common executioner, whose heart the accustomed sight of death makes hard, falls not the axe upon the humbled neck, but first begs pardon. Will you sterner be than he who dies and lives by bloody drops?
I would not be thy executioner. I fly thee, for I would not injure thee. Thou tellest me there is murder in mine eye. 'Tis pretty, sure, and very probable. And if mine eyes can wound, now let them kill thee. Now, counterfeit to swoon. Why? Now fall down! Or, if thou canst not, for shame, oh, for shame, lie not to say mine eyes are murderers. Mine eyes which I have darted at thee, hurt thee not, nor I am sure there is no force in eyes that can do hurt.
Oh, dear Phoebe, if ever, as ever may be near, you meet in some fresh cheek powder of the fancy, then you shall know the wounds invisible that love's keen arrows make.
But till that time, come not thou near me. And when that time comes, afflict me with thy mocks. Pity me not, as till that time I shall not pity thee.
And why, I pray you? Who might be your mother that you insult, exult, and all at once over the wretched? What though you have no beauty, as by my faith I see no more in you than without candle may go dark to bed? Must you therefore be proud and pitiless?
Oh.
Why, what means this? Why do you look on me? I see no more in you than the ordinary of nature's sailwork. Odds my little life, I think she means to tangle my eyes too. No faith, proud mistress! Hope not after it. 'Tis not your inky brow, your black silk hair, your bugle eyeball, nor your cheek of cream that can entame my spirits to your worship. You foolish shepherd, wherefore do you follow her? Like foggy south puffing with wind and rain, you are 1,000 times more proper than she is a woman. 'Tis such fools as you that makes the world full of ill-favored children. 'Tis not her glass, but you that flatters her, and out of you she sees herself more proper than any of her features can show her. But mistress, know yourself, down on your knees, and thank heaven fasting for a good love. For I must tell you, friendly in your ear, so when you can, you are not for all markets. Cry their mercy, love them, take their offer. Foul is most foul, being foul to be a scoffer. So take her to thee, shepherd, and fare you well.
Sweet youth! I pray, you chide a year together. I had rather hear you chide than this one woo.
They've fallen in love with your foulness, and she'll love me for my anger if it be so. Why do you look upon me?
For no ill will I bear you.
No, for you. Do not fall in love with me, for I am falser than vows made in wine. Besides, I like you not. Come, sister. Shepherdess, look on them better and be not proud. Though all the world could see, none could be so abused in sight as thee. Come to our flock. No. Stop.
Dead shepherd, now I find I saw of might. Whoever loved that loved not at first sight.
Sweet Phoebe.
Huh? What sayest thou, Sylvia?
Sweet Phoebe, pity me.
Why, I am sorry for thee, gentle Sylvia.
Wherever sorrow is, relief would be. If you do sorrow at my grief and love, by giving love your sorrow and my grief, we're both exterminated.
Thou hast my love. Is not that neighborly?
I would have you.
Why, that were covetousness. Sylvia, the time was that I hated thee, and yet it is not that I bear thee love. But since thou canst talk of love so well, thy company, which erst was irksome to me, I will endure, and I'll employ thee too. But do not look for further recompense than thine own gladness that thou art employed.
So holy and perfect is my love, and I in such a poverty of grace that I shall think it a most plenteous crop to glean the broken ears after the man that the main harvest reaps. Lose now and then a scattered smile, and that I'll live upon.
Knowest thou the youth that spoke to me erewhile?
Not very well, but I have met him oft. He hath bought the cottage and the grounds that the old peasant was once master of.
Think not I love him, though I ask for him. 'Tis but a peevish boy, and yet he talks well. But what care I for words? And yet words do well when he that speaks them pleases those that hear. It is a pretty youth, not very pretty. But sure he's proud, and yet his pride becomes him. He'll make a proper man. The best thing in him is his complexion, and faster than his tongue did make offense, his eye did heal it up. He's not very tall, yet for his years he's tall. His leg is but so, and yet 'tis well. There was a pretty redness in his lip, a little riper and more lusty red than that mixed in his cheek. 'Twas just the difference betwixt the constant red and mingled damask. There be some women, Sylvia, had they marked him in detail as I did, would have gone near to fall in love with him. But for my part, I love him not, nor hate him not. And yet, I have more cause to hate him than to love him, for what had he to do to chide at me? He said mine eyes were black and my hair black, and now I am remembered, scorned at me. I marvel why I answered not again. But that's all one. Omittance is no quittance. I'll write him a very taunting letter, and thou shalt bear it. Wilt thou, Sylvia?
Phoebe, with all my heart!
I'll write it straight. The matter's in my head and in my heart. I'll be bitter with him and passing short. Go with me, Sylvia.
Yes!
I prithee, pretty youth, let me be better acquainted with thee.
They say you are a melancholy fellow.
I am so. I do love it better than laughing.
Those that are in the extremity of either are abominable fellows and betray themselves to every modern censure worse than a drunkard.
Why, 'tis good to be sad and say nothing.
Why, 'tis good to be a post.
I have neither the scholar's melancholy, which is emulation, nor the musician's, which is fantastical, nor the soldier's, which is ambitious, nor the lawyer's, which is politic, nor the lady's, which is nice, nor the lover's, which is all of these. But it is a melancholy of mine own, compounded of many simples and extracted from many objects, and indeed the sundry contemplation of my travels, in which my often rumination wraps me in a humorous sadness.
A traveler. By my faith, you have great reason to be sad. I fear you've sold your own lands to see other men's. Then to see much and to have nothing is to have rich eyes and poor hands.
Yes, I have gained my experience.
And your experience makes you sad. I'd rather have a fool to make me merry than experience to make me sad.
Good day and happiness, dear Rosalind. Oh.
Nay then, God be with you. And you speak in blank verse.
Farewell, Monsieur Traveler. Why, how now, Orlando? Where have you been all this while? You, a lover. And you served me such another trick, never come in my sight more.
My fair Rosalind, I come within an hour of my promise.
Break an hour's promise in love? He that will divide a minute into 1,000 parts and break but a part of 1,000 parts of a minute in the affairs of love is
Pardon me, dear Rosalind.
Nay, and if you be so tardy, come no more in my sight. I'd as happy be wooed of a snail.
Of a snail?
Aye, snail. For though he comes slowly and carries his house, he brings his destiny with him.
What's that?
Why, horns.
Virtue is no horn maker, and my Rosalind is virtuous.
And I am your Rosalind.
It pleases him to call you so, but he hath a Rosalind of a better leer than you. Oh, sorry.
Come, woo me, for now I'm in a holiday humor, and like enough to consent. What would you say to me now, and I your very, very Rosalind?
I would kiss before I spoke.
Nay, you'd better speak first, and when you are perplexed for lack of matter, you might take occasion to kiss.
How if the kiss be denied?
Well, then she puts you to an entreaty, and there begins a new matter.
Who could be outbeing before his beloved mistress?
Marry should you if I were your mistress, or I think my honesty ranker than my wit.
What, of my suit?
Not out of your apparel, and yet out of your suit. Am I not your Rosalind?
I take some joy to say that you are, because I would be speaking of her.
Well, then in her person, I say, I will not have you.
Well, then in my person, I die.
No, faith, die by attorney. The poor world is almost 6,000 years old, and in all this time, no man has died in his own person in a love cause. Men have died from time to time, and worms have eaten them, but not for love.
I would not have my Rosalind of this right mind, because I fear her frown might kill me.
By this hand, he will not kill a fly. But come, now I'll be your Rosalind in a more coming-on disposition, and ask me what you will, I will grant it.
Then love me, Rosalind.
Yes, faith will I, Fridays and Saturdays and all.
And wilt thou have me?
Aye, and 20 such.
What sayest thou?
Are you not good?
I hope so.
Well then, can one desire too much of a good thing? Come, sister, you shall be the priest and marry us. What do you say, sister?
Pray thee, marry us.
I cannot say the words.
You must begin, will you, Orlando?
Go to. Will you, Orlando, have to wife this Rosalind?
I will.
You must say I take thee, Rosalind, for wife.
I take thee, Rosalind, for wife.
I do take thee, Orlando, for husband. Tell me, how long will you have her after you've possessed her?
Forever and a day.
Say a day without the ever. No, Orlando. Men are April when they woo, December when they wed. Maids are May when they are maids, but the sky changes when they are wives. I will be more jealous of thee than a Barbary cock pigeon over his hen, more clamorous than a parrot against the rain, more giddy in my desires than a monkey. I will weep for nothing, and that when you are disposed to be merry. I will laugh like a hyena, and that when you are inclined to sleep.
But will my Rosalind do so?
By my life, she will do as I do.
But she is wise.
Or else she could not have the wit to do this. The wiser, the waywarder. Make the door on a woman's wit, and it will out the casement. Shut that, and 'twill out the keyhole. Stop that, and it will fly with the smoke out the chimney, until you've met your wife's wit going to your neighbor's bed, saying she came to seek you there. Ugh. A woman that cannot make her fault her husband's occasion. Let her never nurse a child, for she will breed it like a fool.
For these 2 hours, Rosalind, I will leave thee.
Alas, dear love, I cannot lack thee 2 hours.
I must attend the Duke at dinner, but by 2 o'clock I will be with thee again.
Aye, go your ways. Go your ways. I knew what you would prove. My friends told me so much, and I thought no less. That flattering tongue of yours won me. 2 o'clock is your hour.
Aye, sweet Rosalind.
If you break one jot of your promise, or come 1 minute behind your hour, I will think you the most pathetical break promise, the most hollow lover, and the most unworthy of her you call Rosalind that can be chosen out of the gross band of the unfaithful. Therefore beware my censure and keep your promise.
With no less religion than if that wert indeed my Rosalind. So, adieu.
Well, time is the old justice of all such offenders, and let time try. Adieu.
You have simply misused our sex in your love prate. We must have your doublet and hose plucked over your head and show the world what the bird hath done to her own nest.
Cuz, my pretty little cuz, that thou didst not know how many fathom deep I am in love. But it cannot be sounded. My affection hath an unknown bottom like the Bay of Portugal.
Or rather bottomless. That as fast as you pour affection in, it runs out.
I'll tell thee, Eliana, I cannot be out of the sight of Orlando. I will go find a shadow and sigh until he come.
And I'll sleep.
Oh.
You'd better.
I can do it.
Nope.
Rosalind!
Well, how say you now? Is it not past 2 o'clock?
I warrant you, with pure love and troubled brain, he hath taken his bow and arrows and is gone forth to sleep. And,
Dead.
My errand is to you, fair youth. My gentle Phoebe did bid me give you this. I know not the contents, but as I guess by the stern brow and waspish action which she did use as she was writing it, it bears an angry tenor. Pardon me, I am but a guiltless messenger.
Patience herself would startle at this letter and play the swaggerer. Odds my will, her love is not the hare I do hunt. Why writes she so to me? Well, shepherd, well, this is a letter of your own device.
No, I protest, I know not the contents. Phoebe did write it.
Come, you are a fool and turned into the extremity of love. I say she never did invent this letter.
Sure it's hers.
'Tis a boisterous and cruel style, a style for challengers. Will you hear the letter?
So please you, for I have not heard it, yet heard too much of Phoebe's cruelty.
She Phoebe's me. Mark how the tyrant writes. Art thou God to shepherd turn, that a maiden's heart hath burned? Can a woman rail thus?
Call you this railing?
Why, thy godhead laid apart, warst thou with a woman's heart. Did you ever hear such railing? Whilst the eye of man did woo me, that could do no vengeance to me, meaning me, a beast. Whilst you chide me, I did love. How then might your prayers move? He that brings this love to thee little knows this love in me.
and by him seal up thy mind, whether that thy youth and kind will the faithful offer take of me and all that I can make, or else by him my love deny, and then I'll study how to die. Call you this chiding?
Alas, poor shepherd.
Do you pity them?
Yeah,
No,
well,
they deserve no pity. Wilt thou love such a woman? Well, go to her, for I see love hath made thee a tame snake, and say this to her. If she love me, I charge her to love thee. If she will not, I will not have her unless thou entreat for her. If you be a true lover, hence, and not a word. Hence.
Good day, fair ones. Pray you, if you know, where in this forest stands a sheepcote, fenced about with olive trees?
It's this left in the left on your right hand brings you to the place, but there's none within.
If an eye may profit by a tongue, then should I know you by description. Such garments and such years. The boy is fair, of female favor, and bestows himself like a ripe sister. The woman is fair, with light chestnut hair. Are not you the owner of the house I did inquire for?
It is no boast being asked to say we are.
Orlando doth commend him to you both, and to that youth he calls his Rosalind, he sends this blood-stained napkin. Are you he?
I am. What are we to understand by this?
Some of my shame, if you are to know of what man I am, and how and why and where this napkin came to be stained.
I pray you tell it.
When last the young Orlando parted from you, he left a promise to return again within an hour. And pacing through the forest, chewing the food of sweet and bitter fancy, lo, what befell. He threw his eye aside, and mark what object did present itself. A wretched, ragged man lay overgrown with hair, sleeping on his back. About his neck, a green and gilded snake had wreathed itself, who with her head, nimble in threats, approached the opening of the man's mouth. But suddenly, seeing Orlando, it did slip away into a bush, under which bush's shade, a lioness, with udders all drawn dry, lay couching, head on ground with cat-like watch, that should the sleeping man stir. This seen, Orlando approached the man and found it was his brother, his elder brother. Twice he turned his back and purposed so, but kindness, nobler ever than revenge, and nature, stronger than his just occasion, made him give battle to the lioness, who quickly fell before him, in which, hurtling from miserable slumber, I awaked.
Are you his brother?
Was it you he rescued?
Wasn't you that did so oft contrive to kill him?
'Twas I, but 'tis not I. I do not shame to tell you the thing I was, but since my conversion so sweetly tastes, being the thing I am.
But what of the blood-stained napkin?
By and by, when from first to last betwixt us two, tears are a countenance most kindly bathed. As how I came to that desert place, in brief, he led me to the gentle Duke, who gave me fresh array and entertainment, committing me unto my brother's love, who led me instantly to his cave, there stripped himself, and here, upon his arm, the lioness had torn some flesh away, which all this while had bled. Brief, I recovered him, bound up his wound, and after some small space, being strong at heart, he sent me hither, that you might excuse his broken promise, and give this napkin, dyed in his blood, unto his Rosalind.
How now, Ganymede! Sweet Ganymede!
Many will swoon when they do look on blood.
There is more in it. Cousin Ganymede!
Look, he recovers.
I would I were at home.
We'll lead you thither.
Be of good cheer, youth. You a man? You lack a man's heart.
So I do, I confess it. Oh, sirrah, a body would think this was well counterfeited. I pray you, tell your brother how well I counterfeited.
This was not a counterfeit. There is too great testimony in your complexion. This was a passion of earnest.
Counterfeit? I assure you.
Well then, counterfeit to be a man.
So I do. But in faith, I should have been a woman by right. Come, you look paler and paler. Pray you draw homewards? Oh, good sir. Go with us.
That will I. For I must answer back how you excuse my brother, Rosalind.
I shall devise something, but I pray you commend my counterfeiting to him. Will you go? I'm gonna... Counterfeiting!
Audrey, patience, gentle Audrey.
Faith, the priest was good enough for the old gentleman's saying.
A most wicked Sir Oliver, Audrey, a most vile martext. But, Audrey, there's a youth here in the forest lays claim to you.
I know who 'tis. He has no claim on me in this world. Here comes the man you mean.
It is meat and drink to me to see a clown. By my troth, we that have good wits have much to answer for. We shall be flouting. We cannot hold.
Good eve, Audrey.
Good eve, William.
And good eve to you, sir.
Good even, gentle friend. Cover thy head. Cover thy head. Nay, prithee, be covered. How old are you, friend?
25, sir.
Of ripe age. Is thy name William?
William, sir.
A fair name. William, I know it's another. An upstart crow named Shakespeare that supposes he's as well to bombast out a blank verse as the best. Was ye born in the forest here?
Aye, sir. I thank God.
Thank God. A good answer. Art rich?
Fair, sir. So-so.
So-so's good. Very excellent good. And yet it is not. It is but so-so. Art thou wise?
Aye, sir. I have a pretty wit.
Why, thou sayest well. I do now remember a saying, the fool doth think he is wise, but the wise man know himself to be a fool. You do love this maid?
I do, sir.
Give me your hand. Gotta be quicker than that. Art thou learned?
No, sir.
Then learn this of me. To have is to have. For it is a figure in rhetoric that drink being poured out of a cup into a glass, by filling one doth empty the other. For all your writers do consent that ipsy is he. Now you, sir, are not ipsy, for I am he.
Which he, sir?
He, sir, that must marry this woman. Therefore, you clown, abandon, which is in the vulgar, leave the society, which is in the boorish company of this female, which in the common is woman, which together is abandon the society of this female, or clown, thou perishest, or to thy better understanding, diest, or to wit, I kill thee, make thee away, translate thy life into death, thy liberty into bondage. I will deal in poison with thee, or in steel, I will bandy thee in faction, I will o'errun thee with policy, I will kill thee in 150 ways. Now entering the stadium, women love him, men want to be him, King Kong touchstone! I love you! Therefore, tremble and depart.
Do, good William.
God rest you, merry sir.
Tomorrow's the joyful day, Audrey. Tomorrow we'll be married.
I do desire it with all my heart, though I hope it is no dishonest desire to be a woman of the world.
Our master and mistress seeks you. Come away! Away!
Trip, Audrey, trip. I attend. Go! Awooga!
Is it possible that on so little acquaintance you should like her, and that but seeing her you should love her, and loving woo and wooing she would grant?
Neither call the giddiness into question, the poverty of her, the small acquaintance, my sudden wooing, nor her sudden consenting. But instead, say with me, I love Aliana. Say with her that she loves me. Consent with both that we may enjoy each other. It will be to your good. For my father's house and all the revenue that was old Sir Rowland's will I estate upon you, and here live and die a shepherd.
You have my consent. Let your wedding be tomorrow. Thither will I invite the Duke and all his contingent followers. Now, go you and prepare, Aliana, for look you, here comes my Rosalind.
God save you, brother.
And you, fair sister.
Did you say? Oh, did you tell? Oh, no. But, no. No, go ahead.
Oh, my dear Orlando, how it grieves me to see thee wounded with the claws of a lion.
Wounded I am, but with the eyes of a lady.
Did your brother tell you how I counterfeited to swoon when he showed me your handkerchief?
Aye, and greater wonders than that.
I know where you are. For your brother and my sister no sooner met, but they looked. No sooner looked, but they loved. No sooner loved, but they sighed. No sooner sighed, but they asked one another the reason. No sooner knew this reason, but they sought the remedy. And in these degrees they have made a pair of stairs to marriage.
They will be married tomorrow. I will bid the Duke to the nuptial, but how bitter a thing it is to look unto happiness through another man's eyes. By so much more shall I tomorrow be at the height of heart heaviness, in knowing my brother happy and having all that he wishes for.
Why then, tomorrow I cannot serve your turn for Rosalind.
I can no longer live by thinking.
I weary you then, no longer with idle talking. Know of me then, for now I speak to some purpose, that I know you are a gentleman of good conceit. I speak this not so much that you should bear a good opinion of my knowledge, in so much I say I know you are. Believe then, if you please, that I can do strange things. For I have, since 3 years old, conversed with a magician, most profound in his art and yet not damnable. For if you love Rosalind so near your heart as your gesture cries it out, when your brother marries Aliana, shall you marry her? I know into what straits of fortune she is driven to, and it seem not impossible to me, if it appear not inconvenient to you, to set her before your eyes tomorrow.
Speakest thou in sober meanings?
By my life I do. For if you will be married tomorrow, you shall. And to Rosalind, if you will.
Youth! You have done me much ungentleness to show the letter I writ to you.
I care not if I have. It is my study to seem despiteful and ungentle to you. You are therefore followed by a faithful shepherd. Look on them, love them, they worship you.
Good shepherd, tell this youth what 'tis to love.
It is to be all made of sighs and tears. And so am I for Phoebe.
And I for Ganymede.
And I for Rosalind.
And I for no woman.
It is to be all made of faith and service. And so am I for Phoebe.
And I for Ganymede.
And I for Rosalind.
And I for no woman.
It is to be all made of fantasy, all made of passion, and all made of wishes, all adoration, duty and observance, all humbleness, patience and impatience, all purity, all trial, all observance, and so am I for Phoebe.
And I for Ganymede.
And I for Rosalind.
And I for no woman.
If this be so, why blame you me to love you?
If this be so, why blame you me to love you?
If this be so, why blame you me to love you?
Why do you speak too? Why blame you me to love you?
To her that is not here, nor doth not hear.
I pray you no more of this. 'Tis like the howling against the moon, like Irish wolves. I will help you if I can. I would love you if I could. Tomorrow meet me all together. I will marry you if I ever marry woman, and I'll be married tomorrow. I will satisfy you if I ever satisfy man, and you shall be married tomorrow. I will content you if what pleases you contents you, and you will be married tomorrow. As you love Rosalind, meet. As you love Phoebe, meet. And as I love no woman, I'll meet. Oh, you say you'll marry me if I be willing.
That I will, should I die the hour after.
But if you do refuse me, you'll give yourself to this faithful shepherd.
So it's the bargain.
You say you'll have Phoebe if she will.
Though to have her in death were both one thing.
So fare you well. I have left you your commands. Until tomorrow, then.
I'll not fail if I live.
Nor I.
Nor I.
Bye.
It was a lover and his lass, with a hey and a ho and a hey nonny no, that o'er the green cornfield did pass. It's springtime, the only pretty ring time, when the birds do sing a hey ding-a-ding, ding-a-ding, ding-a-ding. Sweet lovers love the spring. This carol they began that hour, with a hey and a ho and a hey nonny no, how that a life was but a flower, in springtime the only pretty ring time, when the birds do sing hey ding-a-ding, ding-a-ding, ding-a-ding. Sweet lovers love the spring.
I do remember in this shepherd boy some lively touches of my daughter's favor.
My lord, the first time I saw him, he thought he was a brother to your daughter.
Dost thou believe, Orlando, that the boy can do all that he has promised?
I sometimes do believe and sometimes do not, as those that fear they hope and know they fear.
There is sure another flood toward, and these couples are coming to the ark. Here comes a pair of very strange beasts, which in all tongues are called fools.
Salutations and greetings to you all.
Good my lord, bid him welcome. This is the motley-minded gentleman I have so often met in the forest. He hath been a courter, he swears.
If any man doubt that, let him put me to my purgation. I have trod a measure. I have flattered a lady. I have been politic with my friend, smooth with mine enemy. I have undone 3 tailors. I've had 4 quarrels, and like to have fought one.
And how was that taken up?
Faith, we met and found the quarrel was upon the 7th cause.
How 7th cause? Good my lord, like this fellow.
I know him very well.
God isles you, sir. I desire you of the like. I press in here, sir, amongst the rest of the country copulatives, to swear and to forswear, according as marriage binds and blood breaks. A poor virgin, sir, an ill-favored thing, but mine own. A poor humor of mine, sir, to take that no man else will. Rich honesty dwells like a miser, sir, in a poor house, as your pearl in your foul oyster.
By my faith, he is still swift and pithy.
According as the fool's bolt, sir.
But for the 7th cause, how did you find the quarrel on the 7th cause?
Upon a lie, 7 times removed. Bear your body more seeming, Audrey. As thus, sir, I did dislike the cut of a certain courtier's beard. He sent me word if I said his beard was not cut well, he was in the mind it was. This is called the retort courteous. If again I sent him word it was not cut well, he would send me word he cut it to please himself. This is called the quip modest. If again it was not cut well, he disabled my judgment. This is called the reply churlish. If again it was not cut well, he would answer, I spake not true. This is called the reproof valiant. If again it was not cut well, he would say I lie. This is called the countercheck quarrelsome. And so, to the lie circumstantial, and to the 7th, the lie direct.
And how oft did you say his beard was not well cut?
I durst go no further than the lie circumstantial, nor he durst not give me the lie direct, and so we measured swords and parted.
And can you nominate in order now the degrees of the lie?
Oh, sir, we quarrel in print, by the book, as you have books for good manners. I will name you the degrees. The first, the retort courteous, the second, the quip modest, the third, the reply churlish, the fourth, the reproof valiant, the fifth, the countercheck quarrelsome, the sixth, the lie with circumstances, the 7th, the lie direct. Thank you. All of these you may avoid, but the lie direct, and you may avoid that too. with an if. I remember when 7 justices could not take up a quarrel, but when the parties were met themselves, one thought but of an if, as if you said so, then I said so. And they shook hands and swore brothers. Your if is the only peacemaker. Much virtue in if.
If.
Then is there mirth in heaven, when earthly things made even atone together. Good Duke, receive thy daughter. Hymen from heaven brought her, yea, brought her hither, that thou mightst join her hand with his, whose heart within his bosom is.
To you I give myself, for I am yours. To you I give myself, for I am yours.
If there be truth in sight, you are my daughter.
If there be truth in sight, you are my Rosalind.
If sight and shape be true, why then, my love, adieu.
I'll have no father if you be not he. I'll have no husband if you be not he. Nor never wed woman if you be not she.
Peace, I bar confusion. 'Tis I must make conclusion of these most strange events.
Here's 8 that must take hands to join in Hymen's band if truth holds true contents.
You and you no cross shall part. You and you are heart in heart. You to their love must accord, or have a woman to your lord. You and you are sure together as the winter to foul weather. Whiles the wedlock hymn we sing, feed yourselves with questioning, that reason wonder may diminish, how thus we met and these things finish.
Wedding is great Juno's crown, O blessed bond of board and bed. 'Tis Hymen peoples every town, high wedlock then be honored. Honor, high honor and renown, to Hymen, God of every town.
Oh, dear niece, welcome thou art to me. Even daughter, welcome in no less degree.
I will not eat my word. Now thou art mine. Thy faith my fancy to thee doth combine.
Let me have an audience for a word or two. I bring these tidings to this fair assembly. Duke Frederick, hearing how that every day men of great worth resorted to this forest, addressed a mighty power, which were on foot in his own conduct, purposely to take his brother here and put him to the sword. And to the skirts of this wild wood he went, where meeting with an old religious man, after some question with him, was converted, both from his enterprise and from the world, his crown bequeathed to his banished brother, and all their lands restored to them again that were with them exiled. This to be true, I do engage my life.
Welcome. Thou offers fairly to these brothers' weddings. To one, his lands withheld, and to the other a land itself at large, a potent dukedom. First, in this forest, let us do those ends that were here well begun and well begot. And after, each of this merry number that has endured shrewd days and nights with us shall share in the good news of our returned fortune according to the measures of their states. And meantime, forget this new fallen dignity, and fall into our rustic revelry. Play, music, and brides and bridegrooms all, measures heaped with joy, to the measures fall.
Sir, by your patience, if I heard you rightly, the Duke hath put on a religious life and thrown into neglect the pompous court.
He hath?
To him will I. Out of these convertities there is much matter to be heard and learned. To you, your former honor I bequeath. Your patience and your virtue well deserves it. You, to a love your great faith doth merit. You, to your land and love and great allies. You, to a long and well-deserved bed. And you, too wrangling for thy loving voyage is but for 2 months victual. So to your pleasures I am for other than dancing measures.
Stay, Jakui, stay.
Not the pastime I, but what you will know to have, I'll stay at your abandoned cave.
Proceed. Proceed. And we shall begin these rites, as we trust they'll end, in true delights.
To see the lady, the epilogue, but it is no more handsome than to see the lord, the prologue. If it be true that good wine needs no bush, 'tis true that a good play needs no epilogue. But to good wine they do use good bushes, and good plays prove the better by the help of good epilogues. What a case am I, then, that am neither a good epilogue nor can insinuate with you on the behalf of a good play. I'm not furnished like a beggar, therefore to beg will not become me. My way is to conjure you, and I'll begin with the women. I charge you, O women, for the love you bear to men, to like as much of the play may please you. And I charge you, O men, for the love you bear to women, which I perceive by your simpering, none of you hates them, that between you and the lady the play may please. If I could, I would kiss as many as have beards that pleased me, complexions that liked me, and breaths I defied not. And I'm sure as many as have good beards or good faces or sweet breaths will, for by my kind offer, when I make curtsy, bid me farewell.
Up above, when I'm with her, my troubles end. Oh, Rosalind.
Even when she's in disguise, she has the prettiest of eyes. My lover and my friend, oh, Rosalind.
I think of you. can't thank her enough. Before I found her, things were rough. Now I can't comprehend without Rosalind. Now I wander through this forest, no comfort and no rest, thinking of a love that I could never forget.
Now I'm wandering through the forest, no comfort and no rest, thinking of a love that I could never forget.
I think of you, and for you, my love is true. My love is true. With a glance, she stole my heart.
Now we're miles and miles apart.
My love won't break